When I was a leader with Walt Disney World, I had a cast member. She was on the college program and extremely high performing and high potential. I really wanted to invest in her so that she would get excited about Disney and apply for the management and professional internships. And so I started giving her more responsibility, higher responsibility, pulling her in on different projects. One day, I was sitting in my office and she comes in to ask me a question. And she sits down and she looks at me and she says, "Why don't you like me?" To say that I was not expecting that conversation was a little bit of an understatement. But I realized in that moment there had been a lack of communication. And I had to do some pretty quick thinking, quick speaking, and a little bit of tap dancing to keep her morale and her energy where it was, which is why I had noticed her in the first place. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. We are in a 7-part series where we are discussing the 7 deadly sins of leadership. And this week, sin number 5, is lack of communication. Now, a lack of communication can have so many negative impacts that leaders just aren't expecting. One of those impacts is that leaders end up spending a lot more time and effort tending to things that they don't really want to tend to. So today we're going to break it down into 3 very specific areas. And as always, I have my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. Whenever a leader is responsible for communicating out information, sometimes the leader has information that they can't share. If you're in that situation, though, there is things that you can share. Many times when Disney was rolling out something big or exciting and rumors were starting to fly, but we weren't allowed to speak about it yet, I will let the cast members know. I need you to have faith in me for just a little bit longer. As soon as I can share this information with you, I will. So they knew I wasn't trying to keep anything from them because our employees are not stupid. And when we try to avoid sharing information by manipulating the truth or just avoiding the conversation, they're going to realize that. And then they're going to start making up their own stories. And I can tell you the gossip that comes in a time of change whenever a leader is not stepping in and supplying the information, it gets out of control fast. So as a leader, make sure that you're staying in front of it. You're communicating important information. The second piece of communication is I've heard that there can be too much communication or that sometimes you shouldn't send out too many emails. I'm a big proponent of delete is a very easy option. I would rather send out all of the information than have moments where the information was needed and I have it in my head, but the person who needs it doesn't have it. You see, at Disney in our operation, we always work together as a group. The smallest team that I was on had 4 leaders, and the largest team that I was on had, 30 leaders. It was a massive team. And so whenever I went home, there were leaders that still had to operate. And early on in my career, whenever I dropped the ball of forgetting to tell the leader that was dealing with a very angry guest and we were trying to create magic, but instead we created more frustration, I realize it's always important. It's better to overshare information about the day-to-day operations of the job than hold it all back. And then finally, with communication, there is no right style. The important part is, are you focusing on it? Are you making it a priority? And are you communicating? A lot of times introverts will say, I don't want to share. I don't want to have that conversation. Where with extroverts, it can feel kind of like a water hose of information coming at one time. Find the style that works best for you and works best for your team, and then go with that. But there is no right or wrong style. Is communication happening? Is it happening effectively? And as a leader, are you adjusting your communication style to the individual that you're wanting to receive that message? Now, if you missed it or you want to hear some more about introverted and extroverted leadership, then make sure that you check out one of the prior weekly wisdoms. The link will be down in the comments, all about introverted versus extroverted leadership. And thank you for joining me for this week's weekly wisdom. episode 5 of the 7 Deadly Sins of Leadership, all about a lack of communication. Have a wonderful week. And don't forget, you got this.